I still remember the exact moment my world tilted sideways. It was one day before my brother's engagement party. The decorations had already been delivered. My mother had spent the entire week posting countdown photos online. Relatives were flying in from different states. The family group chat was exploding with excitement. I was standing in my parents' kitchen helping arrange catering invoices when my father looked up from his coffee and said something that didn't make sense. "You're not coming tomorrow." I laughed because I genuinely thought he was joking. "What? You heard me." His face didn't change. No smile. No humor. Nothing. I waited for him to explain. He didn't. The silence stretched between us. My mother suddenly became very interested in wiping an already clean countertop. My stomach tightened. "Dad, what are you talking about?" He folded his arms. "It's better if you stay home." I stared at him. Better for who? For everyone. The room felt smaller. What did I do? My father looked away. "That's not the point." "Then what is the point?" Neither of my parents answered. And that was when I realized something terrifying. This wasn't a last-minute argument. This had been planned. They had already discussed it. Probably days ago. Maybe weeks. And somehow I was the only person who didn't know. I wish I could say my relationship with my family had always been bad. At least then the betrayal would have made sense. But it wasn't. That was the problem. Growing up, my younger brother Ethan and I were close. We shared a room until high school. We played basketball together. We covered for each other when we got into trouble. He was funny, charming, and naturally good with people. I was quieter, more reserved, more practical. People liked Ethan immediately. People respected me eventually. That was the difference. As adults, those differences only became more obvious. Ethan was the golden child. Not in an evil cartoon way, just enough to matter. If Ethan made mistakes, everyone laughed. If I made mistakes, people got disappointed. If Ethan needed help, the family rushed to support him. If I needed help, I was told I could handle it myself. For years I ignored it. Because honestly, I loved my brother. And I thought he loved me too. When he got engaged to his girlfriend Madison, I was genuinely happy for him. Madison was smart, ambitious, funny. She challenged him in ways nobody else ever had. The engagement announcement happened 6 months earlier. The family celebrated. Everyone was excited, including me, which is why my father's words hit like a truck. "You're not coming." I left my parents' house that morning without another word. I couldn't process it. I drove around for nearly 2 hours. Then I called Ethan. He didn't answer. I texted him. No response. I called again. Straight to voicemail. That was unusual. Ethan always answered. Eventually I received a text. "Busy. Talk later." That was it. Nothing else. By evening, my anxiety had turned into anger. I called my mother. "Tell me what's going on." She sighed. "You should just let this go." "No. Please don't make things harder." "Harder for who?" Another silence. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. "Madison requested that you not attend." I nearly dropped my phone. "What? She doesn't feel comfortable." "With me?" "Yes." I couldn't breathe for a second. "Why?" She didn't really explain. "That's ridiculous." "I know." "No, Mom. That's impossible." But even as I said it, a horrible possibility formed in my mind. A possibility so absurd that I immediately rejected it. Until I remembered a conversation from months earlier. Madison and I had been talking during a family barbecue. Nothing unusual. Just discussing careers and future plans. Ethan had walked over and jokingly said, "You two always end up having the most serious conversations." Madison laughed. I laughed. That was it. At least I thought it was. Now I wasn't sure. The next morning, the day of the engagement party, I woke up feeling sick. My phone remained silent. No explanation. No apology. No call from Ethan. Nothing. I spent most of the day staring at the television without actually watching it. Then around 5 o'clock, my cousin Rachel called. "Where are you?" "At home." "What do you mean?" I wasn't invited. The silence on her end was immediate. "What?" "I'm serious. Everyone thinks you're running late." I sat upright. "What?" "Nobody knows you were excluded." My heart started pounding. "What exactly are people saying?" Rachel hesitated. "Honestly, tell me. Most people think you chose not to come." That changed everything. Until that moment, I had assumed my family was simply excluding me. Instead, they were rewriting the story, making it look like I abandoned them, making me the villain. I felt something snap inside me. Not rage. Not revenge. Just clarity. I needed answers. Immediately. So I got in my car and drove to the venue. I wasn't planning to cause a scene. I wasn't planning to ruin anything. I simply wanted someone to look me in the eye and explain why my own family had erased me. The engagement party was being held at a country club about 30 minutes away. When I arrived, the parking lot was full. Music drifted through the evening air. Guests laughed. Everything looked perfect. From the outside, I walked toward the entrance. Then I saw my father. His expression darkened immediately. "What are you doing here?" "Getting answers." "You shouldn't have come. I'm your son." His jaw tightened. "Not tonight." Those 3 words hurt more than I expected. Not tonight. Like I was some kind of embarrassment. A problem to hide. Before I could respond, another voice interrupted. "Let him in." It was Ethan. He stood near the doorway, looking exhausted, looking nervous, looking guilty. For a second, neither of us spoke. Then he gestured toward an empty hallway. "Come with me." We walked away from the crowd, away from the music, away from everyone. Finally, he stopped. I looked at him. "Explain." His eyes dropped to the floor. "It got complicated." "No." "Yes." "No, Ethan." My voice cracked. "You let our family ban me from your engagement party." He looked miserable. "I know." "Why?" He rubbed his face. Then he said something I never expected. "Madison thinks you're in love with her." I stared at him, certain I had misheard. "What?" "She thinks you have feelings for her." The hallway became completely silent. I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was insane. "You're serious?" He nodded. "She's convinced." "Based on what?" "You spend time talking to her. That's your evidence." "She says you pay more attention to her than everyone else." "She's my future sister-in-law." "I know." "No, Ethan." "Do you?" He looked away. And that was when I understood. He believed it too. At least partially. Not enough to confront me directly, but enough to doubt me. Enough to allow this humiliation. Enough to stay silent. I felt physically sick. "You think I'm trying to steal your fiancé?" "I didn't say that." "You didn't have to." His silence said everything. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then I asked one question. "Did you ever ask me?" His face fell. No. Of course he hadn't. Because that would require trusting me. Instead, he trusted suspicion. Rumors. Assumptions. Anything except his own brother. I left. Without another word. Without entering the party. Without defending myself. Because suddenly I realized something. If my own family was willing to believe that about me, nothing I said would matter. The next few weeks were brutal. Family members stopped calling. Friends acted strangely. Relatives avoided eye contact. Apparently the story had evolved. Now people believed I had inappropriate feelings for Madison. Nobody said it directly, but I could feel it. Every conversation felt different. Every interaction felt strained. I became isolated. And the worst part? My parents did nothing. They knew the truth. They knew there was no evidence. Yet they allowed the rumors to spread. I spent months angry, then hurt, then numb. Eventually I stopped reaching out altogether. If people wanted to believe lies, I couldn't stop them. Life moved on. Or at least it appeared to. About 8 months later, everything exploded. I was at work when Ethan called. The first call I'd received from him in months. I almost ignored it. Almost. Instead I answered. "Hello. Can we talk?" His voice sounded broken. "What happened?" A long silence followed. Then he said 4 words. "You were right." My chest tightened. "What?" "You were right." I sat down slowly. "About what?" Another pause. Then came the revelation that changed everything. Madison had been lying. Not about me. About a lot of things. For nearly a year, she had been secretly messaging another man. Not just messaging. Planning a future. Making promises. Discussing moving away. Building an entire second relationship behind Ethan's back. The truth surfaced when the other man contacted Ethan directly. Apparently, Madison had told both men completely different stories. Different timelines. Different commitments. Different versions of reality. The engagement collapsed instantly. Families got involved. Friends got involved. Everything became chaos. And during that chaos, another truth emerged. The accusation against me. It had never been based on evidence. Not even a little. Madison later admitted she felt threatened by my relationship with Ethan. She believed I had too much influence over him. She worried he trusted me more than her. So she created distance. At first by planting doubts. Then by exaggerating interactions. Then by convincing herself those exaggerations were real. Eventually the story became its own reality. And everyone accepted it. Including my brother. When Ethan finished explaining all this, I felt something unexpected. Not satisfaction, not victory, sadness, pure sadness. Because the damage had already been done. You destroyed our relationship. The words slipped out before I could stop them. Silence. Then I heard him crying. Actually crying. I know. You never trusted me. I know. You chose her. I know. Every answer sounded the same. Because there was no defense. No explanation. No excuse. Just regret. Over the next several weeks, Ethan tried to repair things. He apologized repeatedly. He admitted everything. He confronted our parents. He told relatives the truth. He corrected every rumor he could find. To his credit, he genuinely tried. But rebuilding trust is harder than destroying it. Especially when betrayal comes from family. Eventually my parents called too. For the first time, they sounded ashamed. My father asked if we could meet. Part of me wanted to refuse. Instead, I agreed. We met at a small diner near my apartment. My father looked older than I remembered. Tired. Smaller somehow. After a few minutes he finally spoke. I was wrong. I waited. I should have stood up for you. Yes. I should have demanded proof. Yes. I should have trusted my son. I looked at him. For years my father had always seemed certain. Strong. Unshakable. Now he looked like a man confronting his own failure. You humiliated me. His eyes filled with tears. I know. You made me feel disposable. I know. You chose convenience over your own child. He nodded slowly. There was no argument. Because there wasn't one. The truth was ugly. They had sacrificed me to avoid conflict. And families do that more often than people realize. Not because they're evil. Because it's easier. Standing up for someone requires courage. Staying silent requires nothing. The conversation lasted nearly 3 hours. By the end, neither of us had solved anything. But for the first time, I felt heard. Really heard. Months passed. Then years. Relationships healed gradually. Not completely. Not perfectly. But enough. Ethan and I slowly rebuilt our bond. One conversation at a time. One honest moment at a time. Trust returned in small pieces. Like rebuilding a house after a storm. Painfully. Slowly. Brick by brick. A few weeks ago, my family gathered for my niece's birthday party. Everyone was laughing. Talking. Sharing stories. At one point Ethan walked over and handed me a drink. Then he said something quietly. Something only I could hear. Thank you for giving me another chance. I looked around the room. At my parents. At my brother. At the people who once believed the worst about me. And I realized something important. Forgiveness isn't about pretending the hurt never happened. It's about deciding the hurt doesn't get to control the rest of your life. What happened before my brother's engagement party changed me forever. I learned how quickly trust can disappear. How dangerous assumptions can become. How easily people choose the story that causes the least resistance. But I also learned something else. The truth has a strange way of surviving. Even when nobody wants to hear it. Even when lies seem stronger. Even when you stand alone. Eventually the truth catches up. And when it does, the people who doubted you are forced to face themselves. That's exactly what happened to my family. The engagement party they tried so hard to protect never became a wedding. The person they believed never became family. And the son they pushed aside turned out to be the only one telling the truth all along. I wasn't excluded because I did something wrong. I was excluded because it was easier for everyone else to believe I had. And that lesson is one I'll never forget.